Welcome to the Horror Next Door. We're back with some of our favorite new horror trailers from February 2021. But first, if you enjoy everything from the world of horror, movies, video games, masks, and memorabilia, please subscribe. Now, on with the trailers.
The Devil Below. There is an abandoned place nestled deep in the Appalachian country where underground coal mines have been ablaze for decades. When a team of researchers try to find out how the fire started, they soon discover something more startling than the mystery that sent them there. They're not alone.
The Devil Below is directed by Bradley Parker, who directed Chernobyl Diaries, and stars William Patton, who you might recognize from Halloween 2018, The Fourth Kind, and The Mothman Prophecies.
This just looks like it could be a cool and fun creature feature. It definitely harkens back to things you may have seen in horror films in the past with, a similar plot line or motivation. We actually just recently watched The Cave from 2005. It reminded me of that a little bit, maybe just because we had been watching it, but it definitely looks better than that one. Not to be mean or anything. I'm just looking forward to seeing more, I guess.
So after looking into this movie more and realizing that the director also directed the Chernobyl Diaries, it got me a little bit more interested in seeing this. I am a fan of Chernobyl Diaries, even though it's not the best horror film ever made, but it was rather interesting to see that the only other horror movie, or the only other movie he's actually directed is the Chernobyl Diaries. So this is his second feature film that he's directed. This movie also reminded us of The Descent, just with the monsters attacking them underground, the trapped, claustrophobic type feeling. I am very interested in seeing the way these monsters turn out looking. Obviously, the trailer is not going to show them off in all their glory. There is a glimpse of them at the very end, or at least a glimpse of one. Not sure if they all look the same or what. It looks pretty freaky, and it's got rows of teeth. I cannot wait.
The Toll. A socially awkward driver and a weary passenger try to make it to their destination while being haunted by a supernatural threat. Although the reason why they are stuck on this road or at this dead end or whatever you want to call it is very different from the film Dead End from 2003, it reminded me of that a lot. I feel like that movie's really underrated and I really like it. It just reminded me of a mixture of that with Saw, because the Saw movies, Jigsaw is always having the people, basically testing them. Like, are you willing to hurt or kill someone else to save yourself? The old woman is basically telling them that they have to sacrifice someone to him, and the idea of being put into that situation is just so crazy and insane. Like, I don't want to think about it, but seeing it in a horror film is entertaining. I mean, I don't know what to say. I love the Saw movies, and even though this is obviously really different from those two, just aspects of it remind me of things that I already know I like, so I'm into it and I'm ready to watch it.
I really like the concept behind this movie. I really can't wait to see what the Toll Man looks like, because they didn't show him at all. So the woman in the trailer says that the Toll Man wants death as his toll. So Hellcat interpreted that as that one of these two people would have to kill either one another or someone to appease the Toll Man to get through. I actually interpreted it as that the Toll Man would have to kill one of them or both of them to pay the toll, and then the other would be able to go. I guess we'll have to see the movie to see what the real interpretation is. I mean, it could be a variety of any of those factors, really.
Yeah.
I'm also really curious to know why there's like a group of people standing around with bags on their heads. What does that have anything to do with the Toll Man? Is it a hallucination? What is going on?
Son. When a young boy contracts a mysterious illness, his mother must decide how far she will go to protect him from terrifying forces in her past.
Son stars Emil Hirsch from The Autopsy of Jane Doe, and forgive me if I butcher this name, Andy Matichak from Halloween 2018.
This movie looks really intense. I definitely want more information about what is happening to this kid, because even if she was in a cult of some kind, unless there's some kind of witchcraft or supernatural aspect to this, cults are just people. And I understand that the mind washing and stuff that can happen to people that are in cults can really traumatize people and mess people up, but it certainly can't do what is happening to this child. And a lot of those little quick cuts of the things that are happening to him are super freaky. It'll be interesting just to see if she really is just projecting something else that's going on with him being related to the cult she was in and she's just kind of like losing her marbles, or if they really are powerful enough to do something like this.
One thing that this trailer reminded me of was the Grace character from the movie The Lodge. These movies are completely different from one another, but I feel like the main woman in this movie and Grace from The Lodge are very similar in the sense that they were both in some kind of cult and have really messed up pasts that are messing with their mind, and it's just something that this trailer reminded me of. I just can't wait to see if all this is just in her head or if there is some kind of attachment to this cult. But this movie looks weird and freaky, and we can't wait to see it.
Come true. A teenage runaway takes part in a sleep study that becomes a nightmarish descent into the depths of her mind and a frightening examination of the power of dreams.
Come True is directed by Anthony Scott Burns, who also directed Our House.
As one of the biggest fans of Freddy Krueger and all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies ever, I am extremely fascinated by what happens when we sleep and dreams, and although this movie is nothing like those, Freddy was literally my first, at least as far as I can remember, introduction to horror when I was super little. So first of all, there's that. Second of all, I love the vaporwave, synthwave, neon, vibes and crazy looking things that are going on in this. I think visually it is going to be so cool. The quote that popped up that said it was some of the most disturbing cinematic imagery, that the person's ever seen, that really caught me too, because it makes me think, okay, there is a lot going on that we are not seeing in this trailer, and I am so intrigued to see more. I'm super excited about this one. This one might be my number one for this month.
The overall tone and atmosphere of this movie immediately gave me just the feeling of like something from the 80s, and definitely something that Cronenberg would have made. We recently watched Possessor, which was directed by David Cronenberg's son, and it also had a similar vibe. I am also very intrigued by dreams and how dreams work and the whole 9 yards. The trailer didn't allude to this, but I'm wondering if they would incorporate sleep paralysis, which I'm not sure if you know what that is, but look it up. It's weird.
Lucky. A suburban woman fights to be believed as she finds herself stalked by a threatening figure who returns to her house night after night. When she can't get help from those around her, she is forced to take matters into her own hands.
Lucky is written by and starring Bree Grant, who also wrote 12-Hour Shift and appeared in a few episodes of Dexter.
The first thing that I thought of when I saw this trailer is a movie called Salvage from 2006. It's a pretty low-budget flick, but it really, really struck me. I very highly recommend it. It's kind of the same premise. Every day, a killer's coming for this girl, and she has to try to find a way to escape death, and this is super similar to that. So I'm pretty excited about it. I also think the fact that she's sitting there having that conversation with her husband, and he's just being nonchalant and casual about it. Like, yeah, he comes every night, It's just so crazy. I know I said the last movie was the one I might be most excited about this time, but I'm really looking forward to this one a lot. I think it's super creative, and this just looks really cool and really creepy. I also like the aspect of it of her fighting back and kicking some ass.
One thing that I like about this movie is that there's a slight sense of humor to everything. but it's not like an over-the-top, laugh-out-loud type of sense of humor. It's a dark, like self-aware, kind of tongue-in-cheek sense of humor. I'm also kind of curious if this killer ever actually ends up succeeding one night and killing her or her husband. What happens the next day? Do things get reset again? Or is it constantly just them fighting off the guy in some way or killing the guy in some way, and then he just keeps coming back? The concept of this movie is awesome, and I also think that it's pretty cool that the lead actress in this movie wrote this thing. Kudos to her. Can't wait to check this movie out.
As always, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment letting us know your thoughts on these trailers. All the trailers that we discussed will be linked in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and don't forget to check out our store and visit our social media pages. Until next time!